And let's go ahead and go to the final question of the day. And the final question comes from a Keith Beers, one of my managers, by the way, who watches the show. Thank you for
Nice, thanks.
sending a question, Mr. Keith. And Keith writes, "Hey Alex, a Willy Wonka prequel is in the works at WB. Do you think it's too late for WB to make another Willy Wonka movie?" Well, thank you for your question, Keith. So I think the first Charlie and the Chocolate Factory came out. I don't believe I was born yet. I don't remember the year it came out, but I do remember watching it in elementary school, and I remember the comments being made amongst some of my teachers who said, "I used to watch this movie. I love this movie when it first came out," hinting at the fact that at the time when they were teaching me, and I was young, that they were young when they saw it. Um, Again, I don't remember the exact year. Somebody please fact check me when it first came out, but I love the first movie. The first movie is definitely nostalgic. Gene Wilder, man, his Willy Wonka was freaking amazing.
Yeah,
And what's
man.
the I think the distinct difference between his and Johnny Depp, what Gene Wilder was on his shit. He let those kids fuck themselves up. He was like, whatever, like, I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm gonna
Yep.
keep it moving, and y'all entitled kids can do whatever the fuck you want to do. If I warn you one time and you still do it, hey, all I can say is that your parents got money, they can fix it. I'm gonna keep it moving. And Charlie, he Charlie shows the innocence of a boy who just wants to do the right thing and essentially help his family. And Gene Wilder just gives him the factory, and it's just perfectly articulated in that movie. When I watched the the reboot, I would say aesthetically and special effects, it was a great special effects aesthetic movie. But that movie's just trash. Like they made Willy Wonka not necessarily an asshole, but just they made him so wacky and goofy. And if you ever read Willy Wonka, any stories about Willy Wonka, that man is a genius. He's a genius, and how they portrayed him in that remake was just not the accurate depiction of who he's supposed to be. That's why I said Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka. Oh my god, like I said, like he would warn somebody one time. If you didn't want to listen to him, you fell flat to those consequences.
Yep.
And you know what's so funny? All I keep thinking about is that scene in the first movie is where the girl demands her dad to buy one of those golden eggs, and he's just trying to get Willy Wonka to sell it to him. He's like, "Name your price." He's like, "They're not for sale." He's like, "Everyone has a price." And this girl is being such a brat, and all I can think about is that if my mom saw me act that way, she would whoop my ass. And
Yes.
what's so funny is that when she falls down that egg thing, that egg basket, and he's like, the father's like, where is she? Like, is she gonna be okay? Like, where's the incinerator? Like, he's freaked out. But what's so funny about it is that it shows you how privileged a lot of people are,
Yep.
how these kids control their parents. And Charlie, who has nothing is so humble. But to answer your question, is it too late to release a Willy Wonka prequel? Um, I think it's good to take nostalgia things and repurpose them. I would love to see how Willy Wonka got started. I believe there's books about that. However, it is not on the top of my list. I would have to see a trailer first. I would have to see a trailer first, and I would have to judge it between that. But if they go the insane, uh, nonsensical Willy Wonka, then I'm not gonna really want to watch it. But if they take cues from Wilder's performance, oh my god, like I would be intrigued. But Jeremy, I know you've seen this movie. I know you've seen both movies. What is your take on the movies, and are you interested to see a prequel?
I loved listening to you give props to Gene Wilder. That dude is incredible.
Yeah,
Obviously Willy Wonka. Obviously his performance as Willy Wonka is uh I don't know. I would put it in the top 20 most iconic film roles in the history of
yeah,
film. I mean, you could probably make a compelling argument for 20 others that are more important than him, but for
wow,
me, You know, Gene Wilder in the 70s, Blazing Saddles, Willy Wonka, Bride of Frankenstein, a little bit, not Bride of Frankenstein, Young Frankenstein, sorry,
Yeah,
a couple
right.
years later. He's great. He is a revelation and just so, I think, vital to that character, where in 2005, which is when the Tim Burton version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory came out, it was very hard for audiences to look at Johnny Depp and his kind of like, let's be real, it was kind of a Michael Jackson impression, right?
Yes, like, very much so.
I thought that's the vibe that I picked off of it, is like he's kind of in Neverland Ranch, and this is his Arrested Development. It's almost like Johnny Depp made a choice as an actor to be like, we're looking for somebody who's kind of in Arrested Development and somebody who like has this weird connection to kids and childhood, but they themselves are an adult. So I didn't dislike Charlie and the Chocolate Factory that Tim Burton did. And it was probably more true to the Roald Dahl Charlie and the Chocolate Factory book than the original one was, but it doesn't change the fact that the original Willy Wonka is just an exponentially better movie. There's a lot of good reasons why. Alex, I think you brought up the thing about Gene Wilder's performance in particular that I really dig, and it's like he's just so not concerned with it. Like exactly. He's just so nonchalant, you know? Yeah. Augustus Gloop gets sucked up the freaking chocolate tube and he's just like, well, whatever. Anyways, let's go.
Yeah.
Tour continues and it's just exactly. Like nothing. And I also like what you said. It's really, I don't want to say it's anti-capitalist message because it's not. It's just, it shows how wealth and privilege breed entitlement. And that people that typically have strong character are the ones who came from hardships. And I think that that's a message in itself that is relatable and universal. And I dig that. Deep Roy, shout out to Deep Roy. He plays all of the Oompa Loompas in the sequel. And he makes sure to wish Victoria a happy birthday every year on Facebook, which is really nice of him.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's wild. So we're friends with the Oompa Loompas from the 2005 version. So I'll never say anything too disparaging. No, actually, I'm a big Tim Burton fan. So anyways, all that said to say, the thing about Willy Wonka, sort of the same thing about Michael Jackson. It's kind of the same thing about the Joker. Let's go down the list. It's the mystique is part of what makes them appealing. The more that you learn about them, the less interesting they may be, you know, or not less interesting, but the less likable, relatable. Like you can project your own thoughts onto Willy Wonka. And in the beginning of the original film, it's one of my favorite scenes where Willy Wonka comes walking out to the gate and he's kind of hobbling and he's on a cane and he looks kind of elderly and shrunk up. And then he like busts out into this big, like, you know, bombastic, almost acrobatic movements. Yeah. And you're like, oh, okay, this guy isn't everything that he appears. Prequels aim to give us everything that we didn't already know about the character. And I feel that by giving them so much depth and so much explanation, then you're taking away that revelation that is Willy Wonka. Like, I don't need to know everything leading up to that point because I only know him through Charlie's eyes. So when you switch perspectives like that, sometimes it works really well. I will say they're eyeing Timothée Chalamet and maybe even potentially Tom Holland. I think Timothée Chalamet very much looks like a young Johnny Depp type. Like he's got that same kind of like early 90s teen beat or tiger beat look to him. So like I can see how they would say, oh yeah, Timothée Chalamet is a young Johnny Depp. But I'm going to be honest, it has such a high probability of just being complete trash that you're gonna have to sell me. You're gonna have to show me something, because right now, yeah, like Alex, like you said, as far as list of things that I'm excited to see, this will be so far down the list that I don't know. But if they do it right, they can definitely do it well, because I think I speak for myself and Alex to say I'm a fan of the source material. So let's see it, and let's see them do it well.
Yeah, I have to agree with Jeremy. Let's just see it. See it. I personally, like he said, like it's not on the top of my list. It has the potential of being very trash, and I think, I always say that anything can be remade, anything can be repurposed, but there hasn't been a Willy Wonka or a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory that has bested the original.
No.
It just, it hasn't. And even if you do pick a up and coming actor or a seasoned actor as Tom Holland, because Tom Holland right now is like in 5 movies coming out, I think in
Right.
this year, like he's killing it. So I just, and I think Tom Holland is a good choice, but again, I would have to see it. Like, I haven't really, outside of maybe Spider-Man and Devil All the Time, I haven't really seen Tom Holland grow. But now this year, we're getting to see him grow. Like, so he's going to be in Uncharted. He's going to be in Cherry. He's going to be in some other things. So I want to see him grow. And if he is picked for this role, I would see what happens. But like Jeremy said, I'm not like right there with it. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think this is a great pick for Warner Brothers to do? Do you want to see a origin story of Willy Wonka? Just jump into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.